Hey everyone, I am back with a video finally. I know it's been a while, but I really miss you guys. I really miss filming. And I wanted to come on here and do a video, of course, talking about books, but I'm kind of tired of the regular review type of form of video and like Instagram posts. And I was like, how can I kind of do something different? I also don't think I'm that good at the classic review, especially on Instagram. I see so many people who do it much better. So I'm like, okay, so what can I contribute to this community that's a little bit different? And then I read Queenie, and not too long after I read Queenie, I read The Pisces. And these two books, one is about a 25-year-old British Jamaican woman in the UK. The other one is about a 38-year-old white woman out in Arizona, eventually goes to California. What do they have in common? So what I realized is that they both lost it after a serious breakup. So this video is going to be about breakups as trauma or breakups as traumatic experience. I'm not sure how I'm going to title this video yet, but I even reflected on like my own experience. So I am in therapy and it's great. I love my therapist. But I entered therapy not long after I was in a breakup. And one thing that she said to me that triggered me, I was triggered. She said, your breakup was a traumatic experience for you. And I was like, trauma? I'm okay. He didn't hit me. He didn't abuse me. You know, I'm like, trauma is for people who have gone through some type of like physical, act against them or something like that. And to my surprise, she's right, because trauma actually has a simple definition, and I have my notes, I looked it up. So apparently the definition of trauma is a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. And later down the line, I admitted that yes, my breakup was distressing, and the women in this book were distressed, or in the both books were distressed. So I'm not necessarily, there will be spoilers, and I'm not necessarily going to explain Queenie or the Pisces. But I just kind of wanted to discuss like breakups as trauma using these two characters. So Queenie, if most people who read Queenie, either they loved it, hated it, or they put it away. It was so hard for me to get through that book. I was listening to it because of her patterns of kind of dealing with her breakup through the first half of the book. She just kept going down a hole where she had like very bad sexual experiences, and where she was ending up in the doctor's office a lot from them. And at first I was very judgmental about her constantly going to the clinic. I was like, girl, why do you keep going to the clinic? And then I realized she's also in the UK, where everybody has access to healthcare. So me as an American, I might go to the doctor more often if I knew I wouldn't have to deal with co-pays. I wouldn't have to deal with insurance if I have insurance. You know what I'm saying? But we also have Jamie in the Pisces, who actually kind of did the same thing. And she broke up with her boyfriend, but what kind of set her off on a rampage was not only did he agree that they should break up, she was not expecting that, but he started seeing another woman. And in Queenie as well, when she found out that her ex started dating someone else and was in a relationship, she lost it. Number one, she popped up on him. You never pop up on people, especially an ex, because you never know what you're going to find. And that's exactly what happened. So they both used sex to kind of get over their grief with their breakups, and they both eventually found themselves in some type of therapy. Queenie eventually went to therapy once her doctors at the clinic were like, something's going on, like you should really talk to somebody. I think Lucy, why do I keep calling her Jamie? Jamie is Lucy's boyfriend. Lucy is in the Pisces. She's the main character of the Pisces, and She's 38 years old, going through her dissertation on Sappho, where her super rich sister says, you should come spend the summer at my like mega mansion by the beach and watch my dog. I'll pay you, yada, yada, yada. Lucy also falls in love with a merman, and that just gets kind of weird. But I'm not going to focus on the merman aspect of that book. I really just want to focus on how Lucy and her cohort, because that's what she entered. She entered like group therapy with other women who were dealing with breakups or divorces, and a lot of them were having a hard time like dating and using dating as kind of like a way to move forward with their breakup, to kind of get over this traumatic experience. But through both of these books, you see that the breakup is what triggers them to fix other things in life, or to see that they have other issues that they need to work on, rather than just focusing on the fact that their relationship didn't work out. I think Queenie did a better job with showing the issues that Queenie needed to deal with, that also reflected in the sense of like rejection from her ex. There was also like racial tension there because her ex was white and she's British Jamaican woman, and the author, I think, did a good job to kind of do flashbacks to show parts of their relationship that didn't work out. As far as Lucy and Jamie goes, the author in that book didn't necessarily show too much of like what was going on between them, but the fact that Lucy initiated the breakup, but she also couldn't deal with the fact that he was moving on and that he agreed, showed that there was something else going on there too, that this mostly had to deal with her. Also, her being like 38 and being in a 9-year relationship is also, you know, when it ends, it's really like the fact of all these things that you had planned out with yourself and this person are no longer a thing. You know, like your total idea of your future is different now. And then as far as when it came with Jamie, and Queenie, to me, so Jamie is Lucy's ex-boyfriend. Let me not jump. I'm trying not to get them mixed up too much. Hopefully you all can follow me. If not, please let me know in the comments and I will try and fix how I talk about these things in the next video. But what happened with Lucy and Jamie, they also started talking again. And this is a major spoiler alert, so if you don't want a major spoiler alert for the Pisces, then I would click off here. But later down the line, Lucy thought her and Jamie had a chance of getting back together, and the truth is he really told her that he'd gotten Megan the scientist pregnant, and that just totally threw her for a loop as well. And that could also, to me, be seen as like a traumatic event. She also kind of, again, went off a little bit after that as well. And you see from that point that there's no going back to Jamie. I mean, I guess, yes, if you decided to, but he also mentioned that, hey, she's pregnant and we're going to try and work on this thing as possible. He didn't sound too great, but that was the mother of his child and that was the direction he was going. So any hope of them getting back together was gone. Just like Queenie, which in Queenie, this, unfortunately, she was just so in denial. I'm sorry, but when a man tells you they were living together, when a man tells you we're on a break, but when he tells you to move out, that is not a break. Y'all are broken up. Same thing if you're a woman living with a woman, if you're a man living with a man, whatever. If someone tells you to get out, like y'all are in a relationship and you break up and they say, yeah, I'm gonna need you to move out, it's over. There's no going back. But of course, me reading this, and yes, Queenie and Lucy are fictional characters, but these things play out in real life as well. And the fact that this person is telling you to get out, the fact that Tom told Queenie, like, I am in a new relationship, we're not getting back together, also after he kind of gave her false hope, it's traumatic. And as far as Queenie goes, she started having panic attacks. Everything at work was falling apart. Her family was falling apart. But it was because they had those spaces to, you know, with other women and with their therapists to really work out what was going on. You find out that there's a lot more to unpack, which I also think adds to the trauma of a breakup. Everything you kind of didn't, number one, everything you didn't want to happen, which is a breakup. Usually you don't want to break up, which is the first thing, is like, oh, this thing that you fear happening, it happened. But also now it forces you to look at yourself differently, to look at the relationship differently, and how to move through the world. How are you going to move through the world now because of this this event happening? It changes your perspective. And going back to issues, I think Lucy's therapist, she said a really good quote, and I wrote it here. It said, I think the place for you to start, the question that you might want to ask yourself, isn't so much what love is, but is it really love I'm looking for? And I actually thought that was really key to both books, because even though Lucy and Queenie started, you know, dating other guys, having sex with other guys, they really weren't enjoying it. They both kind of realized that, wow, maybe I need to like take a little step back. And even though Queenie eventually stops dating a bunch of people and she kind of gets her life back together, Lucy and the Merman, major spoiler alert, when Theo, the merman, asks Lucy to go with him to the ocean, he doesn't necessarily say, when you come with me, he gives her a rope. Basically, I'm thinking like, he lives in water, sis, you're gonna die. And she eventually gets to the point she realized, like, wait, I'm gonna die if I go with him. And he wouldn't say that outright, but she, you know, in that moment, like, no, this relationship with this merman is not worth me dying over, you know? Like, so is love what you're really looking for? Are you willing to risk sometimes your life, but like, are you really willing to risk certain aspects of yourself to be with another person? And with Queenie, you know, she had issues with Tom and race, in the sense of like, she would say that, you know, your uncle did this racist thing, or this racist thing happened to me. He'd act like she's overreacting, you know? So, you know, is that worth, you know, denying a part of yourself, denying something that's actually happening to you to be with somebody else? Is it worth it? Is love really what you're looking for? Are you, you know, most of us are actually like looking for some type of validation. It's not saying that we can't have partnership, but like, when you get to the point of sacrificing a part of yourself for love, is it really for the love, or is it really for like the validation of saying that like having someone else validate you to not be alone? And that just made me just think about a whole heap of emotions when it comes to like relationships and dating, and also realizing how I can be a better friend to people who have gone through breakups, because sometimes, you know, my friends have gone through issues and I'm like, girl, get over it. He wasn't that bomb anyways. You complained about him. And then when they break up, you know, they're just distraught. I was distraught. And this has happened to me multiple times. Every time I've gone through a breakup, I've been like very sad about it. But also to be kinder to people going through breakups, because we don't take them as serious. Like, of course, I think we take divorces more seriously because that's like a real, you know, people are like, oh, you went down the aisle, you said your vows. Not only that, you signed a contract with you, them, and the government that y'all were going to be partners for the rest of your lives. And that didn't happen. But also now looking at breakups as a traumatic event, to learn to be softer and to be kinder to people going through these moments, and that Sometimes we might need more than just our friends to get us through hard times like this. So if you have any thoughts on Queenie, if you have any thoughts on the Pisces, I enjoyed both books. Queenie was a little bit harder to get through. Both books are not for everyone. When I mean that, there's just certain sexual content that I think some people are just not going to want to read. Also the fact that there's a merman in one might freak some people out. But both 4-star books. I think both authors did a good job at trying to get whatever point across that they were trying to get. And they gave me moments to take away and to apply to my life and how I relate to others. So let me know what you think of this video. Should I do more of them? And I will talk to you all later. Bye.